welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Way of the Hunter. Today I'm going to try and explain summarily how the spook mechanics and the alertness mechanics in hunting pressure affect the animal's AI when they're in render. So it's going to be a bit of a guide. I'm going to try and keep the video short. It is going to be complicated with a whole lot of information. But I'll do my best. Wish me luck. I did a video on the spooky mechanics quite some time ago, but I've learned quite a lot since then, and the community's figured out quite a bit more info from then, so I'm going to try and kind of compact it here, and we'll get right to it. So the first thing you're going to want to know is the developers of the game, they love their meter systems. So a lot of the stuff that's in the game you'll find is like a numerical meter that runs in the background. Who knows what the numbers are? No one really knows. We're going to say it's like 0 to 100. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the alertness meter, which is actually indicated. So in the top right, when you get Hunter Sense on, you'll see a bunch of information about the animal. There's a deer there I got a call, but we'll be doing that later. Down by the behavior where it says calm, that is where the animal alertness meter is sitting. It has 3 different stages. Right now you're seeing calm, it has alert, and it has spooked. So you need to understand that that is a meter that increases over time and decreases depending on the hunter interaction. There is going to be quite a few different things that affect that meter, but that's the critical one everybody's got to pay attention to, because that's when you make the animals flee. Now, of course, everyone knows the senses of the animals are sight and hearing and smell. The next thing you're going to want to know is you want to focus on sound. That is by far the one that factors in the most to the alertness meter. Sight also does as well. Most animals typically only see about 50 meters or so in this game. But here's a hot tip for you, and a sort of a little thing I'll be coming back to. The smell, the scent the hunter gives off, does not actually affect that specific meter. And of course a 4-star mature pops in. I was looking at that the whole time talking there. We'll definitely watching that one down the road. But yeah, so a lot of people don't quite realize that. A lot of hunting games out there, I think most of them, you're able to spook the animal by smell. There is a factor. Well, some of this stuff is confirmed, some of it is not confirmed. The spook meter is confirmed, but not really with the smell scent stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much set that the sense of smell does not spook the animals. It does not affect that meter that's under the behavior. They won't go alert from smell, and they won't spook from smell. It'll be sound or a visual, mostly sound. But I'll come back to that because that is under the hunter pressure category, and I'm trying to not make things super complicated right at the start here. But yeah, so what you're going to need to know mainly about sound and spooking animals is that in this game, sound typically travels 180 meters in all directions from the hunter. If you're doing like the normal crouch speed. Now stance has a big factor in it, like the jogging, the sprinting, everything like that, all increases the sound. The little UTV increases the sound, of course. But a lot of, I typically use the normal crouch speed, not the slow crouch, but the normal crouch speed, sort of like to do the measurements on how far the sound will travel. And the sound also is factored in from if you're in the woods or you're out in the open here. The number I use is 180 meters or 200 yards. Not all animals will hear you at that distance. It depends on the species. It depends what terrain you're on. It depends how you're moving. But typically we're doing that normal crouch speed. The most alert animals are the elk, red deer, and wolves. All the other species are typically less than that. But about 180 meters on hunter difficulty or ranger, that normal crouch speed they'll hear you. If you're on default difficulty like me or on the explorer difficulty, you can usually get closer. It'll drop about 20 meters each way. So like the adventure difficulty You can probably get to like 160 meters on crouch before they start hearing you, maybe a little bit closer, again, depending on the terrain. The woods is louder, the open plains is quieter. But what will happen is if these guys start to hear you, see if I wasn't sure if I was going to give examples, but maybe I will. These guys are a little far away to do it. I don't want to lose my little perch. I'm riding on a game trail. I was hoping some deer came like closer for me to sort of give the examples on. But I'll just talk about it for now, just using these guys. So if you're still using these deer here, these mule deer, if I were to crouch in on them on default difficulty, it's kind of hard to say. Maybe 140 to 160 meters, maybe even closer out, in nice quiet terrain. What'll happen is the alert meter will start to build up, and they won't really give any kind of indication that the meter is building up until they go alert. So who knows at what numerical value they go alert at? Maybe it's 50%, who knows? But as long as the sound is reaching them with your movement, you're only making sound when you're moving, by the way. So if you're perfectly still, you won't be making any sound. So when you're moving, the meter will be building up. And you only really know if the meter is building up if they go alert. So once it hits a certain part, the animals may not make a sound, but they will. The status in the top right under behavior will go alert, and they will look at you. Some of them will make a bark or an alert noise, and that's how you definitely know they are hearing you. Okay, and I got off my UTV here. I am going to try and demonstrate this, so let's do a quick little thing. I want to try to make the video very short compared to my other ones. But what'll happen is I'm in a normal crouch state, so we'll just see, how close I get here. Actually, I'm on the default difficulty, so I should actually be able to sort of jog across here without causing too much problems. 200 meters out. But what'll happen is at some point, at 180 meters or a bit closer than that, the spook or alertness meter will start to build on these animals here. And I just want to show you what you do when that happens. Alright, so we're going to keep going a little closer here. Just going to keep the video running without a cut here just so you can see. I'm actually kind of curious. The wind's going that way, so it's not going to be a factor. I'll show you here. So at one point, that alert meter will start to build up. It could be building up already. There's no indication to the player if it is or not, just kind of experience. This one's kind of looking that way, or this way. They're going to switch to alert at some point here. He's looking this way, that could be an indicator, or it could be just the animation. Still nothing. 140 meters. Let's get them to go alert here. So at some point the meter will start to build. If you're on hunter difficulty, it'll build sooner. Man, I'm getting nice and close here. 120 meters. I mean, I wanted one that was nice and close so I didn't have to travel so far. But eventually, one will go alert. I turned around here. Well, to give you a good example of how close you can get in the default difficulty, don't try this with elk. They'll definitely... There, they've got an alert now. There is alert. Okay, they're looking up, so you'll see the animation. No sound came out, so a lot of the times you won't even know. Like if you didn't know they were there, you would alert them and never know it until they run. So what happens is once they've gone alert, that's a confirmation that that spook meter is built like halfway or something like that, or it's like at a critical point where they're about to flee. You have to stop moving fully. Even though they're looking this direction, they're at 90 meters, they don't see me. This is just the animation of the animal looking towards the hunter because it's programmed to do that, towards the sound. So that was sound. So all you do is when they go alert, you have to stop moving. You stop moving fully. Don't worry about the visual effect if you're greater than 50 meters for the most part. They'll go back to normal. So if you stop moving, that little alert meter, it increases really fast and it also decreases really fast. So that's something very important to know. So now, but it's also not decreased all the way. So even though they went back to normal, it doesn't mean the alertness level is at 0. It just means that it's dropped below that alert level. So you give it a bit more time, now you can start going forward a bit more. And this is in the game how a lot of the community has started doing this start and stop technique, where you kind of go forward a little bit, because it increases the alertness meter, and then you stop, let it drop, and then go forward, and let it drop, and you can get pretty close doing this. Now I'm doing the normal crouch speed. If you're playing Hunter or Ranger, you got to go into this like slow one like this. The main difference between the two difficulties is typically you can do the same stuff in the easier difficulties, just at the faster rate. So I can do it on this like faster crouch, just kind of save some time. The game's still challenging on the default difficulty, but they definitely hear me. So when I go forward, the spook meter is definitely increasing, even though there's no indication of it. I just know it definitely is, but I'm stopping before it gets to the critical part where they go alert. Now, the closer you get though, the quicker it fills. So sometimes if you get too close, they'll just go spook immediately without giving the alert. Because the alert is not at 50%, it's probably much closer. It's probably like at 70% when the alert goes off. I don't actually mess around with it too much, because I'd usually shoot one by now, or call one or something like this. But it is kind of fun to see how close you can get, just because it's all kind of a learning thing. But I'm looking at the time, and I want to keep the video short. But we'll just keep going forward, see if I can alert one here without spooking. Look how close I'm getting. There we go. There's the alert. Perfect. Look at that big guy. Hopefully he gets up to 5-star. We got 2-star beside him. Yeah. All right. So if I sit here like this, that's what I mean. I'm within 50 meters, so they should be able to visually see me. Same thing though. If you're they typically don't see you though, so the visual you don't really need to worry about too much. It's like other hunting games. Let's see, did these ones drop? No, they're still alerted. And what happens if you alert them enough, that gets into a whole different category where you start applying hunting pressure and they'll start acting a little differently. There, head down, look at that. You can almost see the programming AI in the background saying, oh, time's up, they're going to go back to normal. But you see how they sort of moved when they go alert? It kind of changes that, you know, the kind of the AI that they're working under, and they will kind of change location a little bit. But look how close I am. See, this is where you don't really have to worry about the visual part. The game is mostly is mostly sound based, and then there's also the scent part that I'll come to next. So scent is going this way, so it's not going to be a factor here. Does this guy go alert? No, calm. So as you can see, the visual part's not a big deal. They're totally calm. They're totally relaxed here. That's visual's not really a big thing. As soon as I move, though, I'm so close, they'll go almost alert immediately here. So the next part I want to get to, and sort of the last part, is when you're looking at the details on the top right, there's a meter that's not being shown. This is one that's not confirmed. This is just one that I've sort of figured out for the most part, you know, non-confirmed, so take it with a grain of salt. Underneath behavior, I like to imagine a new meter called hunting pressure, and it basically just has 2 states, at least I think. It might have a 3rd state, but it's just not pressured or pressured. And there might be a 3rd state that's like extremely pressured or something like that. But it's a meter that's not shown, but it is a meter that works like the alertness meter. But it increases much slower and decreases much slower as well. And it can also affect your need zones. How it affects the need zones, typically if there's too much hunting pressure, it'll turn the need zones, or the need zone that is often, it'll either flip it and make the other one the often one, or they'll just both go rare. But they'll act differently when they're under hunting pressure. And how hunting pressure is applied to them is pretty much any interaction with the deer or with the animals that affect that alertness meter will also start building the hunter pressure meter in the background. And what can happen is if I keep setting these guys off to alert, this guy's looking alert. No, he's calm. He's just detecting me there. So that's a visual thing, okay? So here's a good example right here. This is where I'm visually spotted. The alertness meter should be building up now that I'm within visual range. But visual is really weird because you don't get to play around with it much. Look, see now she's like forgot I'm here. But it will build up as well. Oh, now I don't know why they're moving out. I gotta figure out what they're doing now. Typically I don't play around this close to them. It's not a big surprise they're not moving around, like they're moving out. I'm just trying to figure out the hunting pressure thing. Yeah, it's not. Interesting. Okay. I don't normally hang out too much, but they're decided to move out. I don't think it's a time thing. No, they've decided that might be something that I haven't tested too much because that's like a visual part of the game. So I was spotted visually there, and I'm thinking, ooh, I'm gonna have to work on that one a little bit more, just because rarely do you ever get that close to have this sort of interaction with them, where I was visually spotted. But yeah, they decided to move out. However, that is not hunting pressure doing that. That's going to be some kind of other trigger that happened there when I was visually spotted. But it happens so rarely that typically doesn't. Like, you see how close you got before before I triggered the visual stuff. So they're going to be walking away there. So as I was saying, there's the hunting pressure part. How I know they're not pressured, and something else doing this, is when there's hunter pressure applied to the animals that are rendered, they'll be looking at you. They'll be acting different, kind of acting like this. See how they're not stopping to eat or anything like that? Hunting pressure, though, they look back at you. So what can happen is if you alert them enough times, or, this is where I'm getting into the scent, or the smell's going that way, or if they catch your scent, it'll apply hunting pressure. And what will happen is it'll build that slower hunting pressure meter in the background, and they'll start acting differently. Like they won't put their head down to eat, and they will constantly look at the hunter no matter where he is. So say these deer, say these ones over here that are almost 200 meters out, if I had applied hunting pressure with them when they're in render here, even though they can't see me, smell me, or hear me at this distance or even greater, they will still look at the hunter. They're just programmed to look that way of where the hunting pressure is coming from. This is kind of like a weird little thing. These guys are kind of creeping me out how weird they're acting. that one I need to do another little test video on to see what in the world happened here. That is not hunting pressure, and that is not sound, and that is not scent. So that's an effect with visual. Oh, they're going to do a little turnaround here. Interesting. I'm kind of fascinated about that one. That one I can't explain. Look at that. Learning stuff all the time. Doing a little guide on the hunting pressure stuff and the spooky mechanic, and I think I just learned something there. I think this is hunting pressure, actually. Oh, it's strange, though, because they normally look back at the hunting pressure. But they're acting so strange. They're acting like little robots. Look at that. I don't know what they're doing. Nope, I don't know what that one is. That's just strange. I was spotted, and now they're like zombie deers. Now he's going to rotate and turn. They're sort of acting like they were applied with hunting pressure. But no, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen how they're acting here. With hunting pressure, they won't walk around like they're like a school of fish like this. Like one will go left, one will go right, another one, but they'll stay in the same area, but they'll be looking at the hunter. So it's not hunting pressure. So strange. I can't explain what's going on with those deer. But yeah, I wanted to just do like a little video to try to get kind of like a summary of how some of that works. So sound is typically what you're looking for. Maybe I can snap these guys out of it if I move forward in there and alert them. What's this here? These guys are acting so strange. There it goes, okay, alert. I don't know if that'll snap them out of it or not. But I just want to do like a little video, just because the mechanics are sort of really difficult to learn, because there's no real, in the encyclopedia there's no like instructions or anything like that on this stuff. But that's what you got to keep in mind. It's working like a meter. Focus on the sound. When you're within that range, like 180 meters, start being careful. And it'll build up over time. When it goes alert, pause, stop moving, and the meter will go back down, and then continue moving after that. If it builds up too high, they'll spook and run away. All right, anything else is building up this hunting pressure meter in the background, and it builds up really, really slowly. However, I didn't demonstrate it here, but the last video, either the last one I did or a couple back, I really look into it, and if they smell you, they go into hunter pressure, or the hunting pressure affects them immediately. They won't spook. They'll just start walking away from you, like immediately, and they'll keep looking back at you, and they'll be in hunting pressure mode, and that will stay for, like it takes a while for that hunting pressure to wear off. Something like real time, like half an hour or so. It doesn't cause them to like run away or anything like that, but it does make them difficult to hunt because they'll keep walking around and pacing. I really want to use these guys as an example, but this is an anomaly in my nice little guide video here. They're like zombie deers. I don't know what they're doing. It's so weird. That one. They're sort of acting like hunting pressure, but it's not. They're behaving really funny. But my best guess is that no, I don't have a best guess on that. I don't know what they're doing. Anyways, I guess I should show hunting pressure. I can't really, because the only way really to trigger hunting pressure immediately is to give them your scent. But the scent's going this way, and I won't be able to. I probably won't. Maybe I can. They're gonna. Just a second. I'm gonna see if I can get these guys downwind. Maybe I can put hunting pressure on so you can see the difference. Now here's the alert meter gone off, so you can see they're looking. And when so I just stopped moving. And if you keep waiting, all their heads will go down almost at the same time. Is this like a little timer? 15 seconds or something like that? I'm not actually sure. Here we go. And drop your head around now. No? Maybe it's longer, 15 seconds. There's like a 30. There we go. There's the dropping. Alright, there. They have forgotten about me. So that's pretty much just the alertness meter at work there. I don't know if I can get these guys downwind of me. Oh look, they returned to normal anyways. They're like zombie mode is gone. It's like they didn't know where they were or what they were doing. Now they're back at their drink zone and happy. I don't know. When that doe spotted me, it kind of sent them in zombie mode for some reason. Okay, there, I spooked them. So that's a spook. There they go running. That's because I'm so close and I'm moving. The effect just multiplies on it. I'm going to quickly just try to show what the hunting pressure looks like. Okay, so for the last thing, I'm going to try to demonstrate the scent of putting immediate hunting pressure on them, okay? There's these whitetail right here. The difficulty is I'm going to lose visual on them because scent's going that way. I've got to move over here. Now I am jogging just because I'm trying to do it fast. Not to really direct the test, but I know what's going to happen if I do it right. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to lose sight. Wind's going right where I'm looking. I should be able to jog over here, maybe? The old default difficulty? Okay, so they should catch... Okay, they should be catching the scent now. So if I grab this camera and we go for a little zoom... Let's see if it works here. Nope, we haven't caught the scent yet. Maybe I'm not. How I test that is in the other video we do this. And then what's the wind speed? Oh, it's very low wind though, so it might not be going too far. Yeah, it might not be reaching them here. Let's see if we can... Yeah, it's not reaching them. Okay, they are in the wind. All I gotta do is go forward a little bit here, and it should grab. Okay, they're right up for this hill. The hill shouldn't matter with the scent. If I hug up here, and I get close enough, the wind's not going very hard. And it's trying to get them lined up here, just so you can see what the scent does. Should be good now. Let's give that a go. There's an awkward spot. There they are. Got them. Alright, this is the scent thing. So he's doing the little smell thingy. See how they're all bugging out there? So that they didn't hear me or anything like that. No alert. if I was able to spot them with the binoculars at the moment, you would see the behavior saying calm. So their alertness meter is actually 0, and what's been built up is the hunting pressure meter in the background. So if you keep watching them here, there's one looking back at me there. They're just going to be leaving where the scent is. Okay, there's another one looking back at me. But that's basically what the hunting pressure looks like. They'll look back at you no matter where they are, how far they are away. They'll just look back once in a while, a bunch of them, and they'll walk around. They won't put their head down, they won't eat or anything like that, but they won't really stand still either. Like, they'll stand still when they're looking at you, but if they're not looking at you, they're going to walk. And what happens is, we'll just watch them here for a second. They'll walk up here, and then they'll, I don't know, they'll end up doing like little circles and stuff like that. So we'll just see where they go. Alright, it might be hard to see on the video because that's as far as my little drone camera thingy goes. But I'm way back here. See, I lost what my character is. Where am I? I'm like way over here. Yeah, I'm out of visual range. And I'm definitely not making any noise. But the scent hit them about here. And then that applied hunting pressure. They're pretty much out of the scent now. And they cannot hear or see me or anything like that, but they're still looking this way. I don't know, it might be hard to see in the video, I can't get any closer. But that's pretty much what they're doing, and they will do this. See, look, they started turning now. They're going to pick a spot, and they're just going to repeat. They're going to go in circles, and they're going to occasionally look back at the hunter. Even though you're not doing anything, you're out of sight, out of scent, out of any kind of sound, not moving. They'll look back at you and they'll just kind of pace back and forth. And I haven't fully timed this, but the one video they did kick themselves out of it. And it took like half an hour or something like that for that hunting pressure meter to wear down. Alright, but I think that'll be it for that video. I was trying to do a quick one. It didn't seem to be as quick as I wanted to do. But there's so much to the spooking mechanics and that hunting pressure, and a lot that's still not known. A lot of new players have absolutely, like no instructions, or very minimal to it. And it's not really explained. The developers are very hush-hush on a lot of the mechanics on how they work. This has taken, like, since the game's launch to sort this all out. That little hunting pressure meter in the background with, like, how that works and how it's working, that's relatively new for me, kind of sorting that out. But I did want to, there's some more deer running. But I want to put that little video out just in case it does help someone. I know the other video I did that was all on spooking mechanics was fairly popular, helped out a lot of people. But it was less information than this, and it was longer. And yeah, I just learned a lot since then. So I don't think I missed anything critical. I mean, there's other things always happening and to explain. But I hope that kind of demonstrated some of it and maybe cleared up a few things. And I did repeat myself a couple times, and I mainly just repeat myself just to make sure that the information gets passed clear. But I think I'll stop talking for now, give my voice a bit of rest. So hopefully it helps with the hunts. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take care.